Welcome to the Juiced Up Podcast. This is our introductory episode, and you might already kind of have an idea of what we're going to be doing on this podcast if you've listened to our past Lala Boys podcast, which is now going into retirement. You know, if you are here from the podcast, as you know, I'm Oliver Schramm. If not, nice to meet you. Hope you guys continue to watch our podcast. And Jacob and Jaisen, you guys can take it away from me. I'm talking too much.
We rebranding.
This is the Juiced Up Podcast,
where we talk about juice. That's it.
and
That's all we talk about.
Up.
Yeah.
The movie Up is really good, actually.
All right. Okay, so I think we can get some pretty basic stuff out of the way. I go to college in Bloomington. I go to Indiana University. Oliver goes to Canes University.
I go to Canes
we get
University.
one next year. Here at Michigan State, I go to Michigan State.
No, I go to Loyola Chicago. I don't actually go to Canes University. I don't think that's a real thing. It's not a real thing, actually.
It probably is. It probably is, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, if you just graduate high school and then you go straight to Canes, go straight to the draft.
Fast food draft.
The USFL
the
draft
fast
happens
food
on
draft.
Tuesday. The USFL draft happens on Tuesday. We go Michigan Panthers to the moon.
Thanks.
USFL?
Yeah, bro. It's the United States Football League. And Michigan Panthers won the last championship that there was in the 90s. So we're going back to back.
Aren't they coached by
Jeff Fisher? Yeah.
Wait, Jeff, as in like former Rams and
Rams.
Titans coach. God damn, what the hell? That dude was terrible.
Yeah.
I lived in St. Louis while he was the coach of the Rams, and like my dad would watch the Rams every Sunday. And let me tell you that the amount of times that my dad yelled at Jeff Fisher through the television, it's innumerable. That, we do not like Jeff Fisher at the Schramm household.
He's gonna bring the Panthers a championship.
All the way.
Gonna bring him back to triumphancy. Are we all taking sips now?
Yeah. Oliver's got his lean, but
this is not lean. Don't
Oliver
do drugs, please.
Oliver drinks NyQuil and water.
Don't do drugs. This is Fanta Berry.
That's what the bottle says.
I got it from Halal Guys.
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Not yet.
It was blue as hell. It looked like I was drinking mouthwash, bubbly mouthwash. But it was really good, and shout out Fanta.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Dude, it's better than regular Fanta. Honestly, like first reaction. I mean, like I'm gonna, I'll get it again and see how I feel about it. But
that's the
blue
stretch,
Fanta,
bro. Regular Fanta's the best.
Berry Fanta, bro. Actually, no, grape Fanta probably the best. Grape soda. Soda go dumb.
You tripping?
Nah, now you drink it for
Jacob, you drink fucking strawberry milk, bro. Shut up. I don't want to hear it.
That shit's fire, bro.
I want to hear it.
That's
bro.
good,
Strawberry,
bro.
Strawberry
Good.
nasty.
How you
Strawberry
gonna tell
milk
me
is
it's
nasty,
bad, bro?
Because it's bad. That's why I'm gonna tell you it's bad.
Bro, Oliver, you're the type of dude to drink whole milk and that's it.
Hold on, I got milk in the fridge right here.
Yeah, we got 2-month-old milk in the fridge. This dude Hunter
just
thinks it's
fell
normal
back
to drink
there?
expired milk.
My little cross stick just fell.
Fair life.
Of course he gets fair life. Of course.
Don't
And
those
it's whole
dudes
milk.
torture the cows? Don't those dudes torture the cows?
We need PETA on Oliver's ass. Well, they can't, bro. They blocked him.
PETA is not a big fan of me, let me tell you.
Are you still blocked by PETA?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
On everything?
No, just on Instagram. But
Yeah,
like
accomplishment,
the age old PETA, troll comment that I would do. I actually probably commented this like multiple times. It's probably what got me to be banned out. This post is so outrageous it made me drop my steak.
Oh, they didn't like that.
This post is so bad it made me choke on my steak. What the hell? No, but I don't know. I think PETA's just dumb. PETA's honestly, you know what it is? PETA is the meat industry trying to make people not go vegan. You know what I'm saying? Like PETA makes vegans look so dumb that I think like PETA's they work for the meat industry. They want people to not be vegan. So they do all this stuff that's like, wow, I'm vegan and cool. Or, like
no, they make the Impossible Burger, bro. If you ever catch me eating one of those, cut me off on the spot, bro.
How could they make a burger if it's impossible? All right, for the agenda today, the NBA dunk contest. Let's talk about that. Can
we talk about how Cole Anthony dunked in Tim's? Who the fuck is this dude, bro? He think he's from New York or something.
No. Can we talk about how the dunk contest?
I didn't know that.
Can we talk about how the dunk contest just needs to be over? They need to stop doing it. It's done. It's past its peak. We have people.
I just think they got bozos in there. They got nobodies in there.
Yeah, it's some absolute bozos in the fucking dunk contest nowadays. Like who is Juan Toscano Anderson?
He's a backup guard for the Warriors.
He's a backup guard for the Warriors. Dude,
I think so.
Last night he was in the final, right? He was in the final.
I'm pretty sure. Completely honest with you guys, it was on. I wasn't watching it.
Yeah. It wasn't good. You didn't miss anything. I'm pretty sure Juan Toscano Anderson was in the final though, and he was talking to 2 Chainz. Like he was standing over by 2 Chainz, and he and 2 Chainz were talking. And I was just thinking, I was watching that. I was like, 2 Chainz has no idea who this man is. Like he does not know who he is talking to. Because to be honest, if I was a famous rapper sitting on the sideline of the NBA All-Star game, I would have no idea who half the kids in the dunk contest are. I know Cole Anthony. I know Jalen Green. Jalen Green, by far, one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the dunk contest.
Which doesn't make sense because in high school, that dude had mad hops. That dude, now, he has mad hops.
I have a new name for the dunk contest. It's called the junk contest because it's fucking terrible. Dude, I'm serious. Like the past few years, it's been awful. Who won it last year? Anthony Simons.
Is it possible that Dwayne Wade ruined the dunk contest? Like,
no, I just think it's like
Dorktown exclusive.
Dorktown exclusive, man.
I just think that they have nobodies in there because I guess I really don't know. It was like after the Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon dunk contest, it just went to shit. Like because that shit was so sick. That was like the best dunk contest ever.
The 2020.
Well, they got it wrong though, right?
Was hype.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jacob? When Gordon jumped over Taco Fall and Dwayne Wade didn't give him a 10, that's when I think that was the last great dunk contest.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon got snubbed twice, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then Gordon was like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like the issue, the reason why the dunk contest is pretty dead now. Is probably for that reason. Like it, first off, it's a risk. Cole Anthony got hurt last night. He was grabbing at his thumb after one of the dunks, which it's a legitimate concern, but like you are not going to tear your Achilles tendon doing some flashy dunk. Like I think the stars being so scared of actually competing in the dunk contest is why it's so bad now. It's why we have second string guards like Juan Toscano Anderson and G League players like Anthony Simons going into the dunk contest and winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, Juan Toscano
I'm pretty sure
Anderson
last year they actually had a G League guy. Last year they had a G League guy in the dunk contest.
It wasn't Anthony Simons, or
that was Simons, I think.
Oh, and no, I thought Simons was on the Trailblazers. But yeah, they had some G League. This was pretty cool. The skills challenge was pretty cool. They had the Antetokounmpo bros, even the ones in the G League. They had Team Cavs because it was in Cleveland. I thought that was pretty stupid, but whatever. And then they had Team Rooks. And did you guys? Biggest Cade Cunningham fan here, but did you see his first shot in the skills challenge?
I didn't watch the skills challenge.
He completely airballed it. Completely airballed the first shot.
So I one thing I will say, like, I did like how the skill contest was set up though. Like I thought it was like cool. That was actually the most intriguing part of the whole thing. Many people airballed that like 5 shot, and Darius Garland hit like 6.
Yeah.
Like, dude was going from top of the 3-point line back to the Dame Lillard spot, they call it, back to the 3-point line, Dame Lillard, and he was hitting all those. So that was kind of cool. But
can we also talk about how a center cat Karl-Anthony Towns beat Steph Curry, Trae Young, Zach LaVine, and all these dudes in the 3-point contest?
Yeah, that was
Karl-Anthony Towns, bro.
Yeah,
it just shows the league changing.
Yeah, I just think that, like, I think I've already said I think the Pro Bowl should not happen. I think the Pro Bowl is fucking absurd. I think it's pretty, the Pro Bowl is pretty absurd. The home run derby's gotten a lot worse, in my opinion. They don't. I mean, it just doesn't. It just doesn't pull the stars. Like, dude, Mike Trout should play in the home run derby. I know it's an injury risk, and it's actually probably more of an injury risk than the dunk contest is for NBA players. But Juan Soto found his swing last year in the home run derby. Like, he wasn't even elected an all-star in the first half. He had a really slow first half, and then he went to the home run derby, crushed it in the home run derby, and then moved on to have a phenomenal year, lead the league in OPS, I think, some stat like that.
I think I know what you're saying, though. They got to put the stars in it.
They got to put the stars in these things if they want people to watch them.
To be fair, though, Ohtani, Soto, Trevor Story, they were all in there, and then Trey Mancini was a good one because of his cancer.
Yeah,
that was Salvador Perez was having a career year, even though he's like 32 now. So
yeah, his team is crap.
It's not like there just was nobody. And then the repeat champion was Pete Alonso. He was back in there. So it's not like there was. Yeah. In my opinion, I think the home run derby is like way more fun than a all-star game or anything like that. But the dunk contest used to be super exciting. The 3-point contest I never quite got because you're literally you're watching 8 different dudes shoot up a 3-pointer from 5 different spots, and you're watching that for an hour. Like, when were we like, yeah, that's a good idea?
It's like Wii Sports. Wii Sports exactly. You could do that same shit. Like, no one ever first off, no one ever played basketball in Wii Sports Resort. Let's talk about how bad of a game it was.
Oh my god.
But then they had this special like shooting contest or whatever where you could play with your friends and see who scores more 2-pointers. Like, it wasn't even 3-pointers that you were shooting. You were shooting like inside the line. And you were, tossing up a 2-pointer with your broken ass, Wii remote jumper. I mean, it was, shooting contests are just ridiculous. Unless it's like pushing the limit. Like, I think they should have Steph Curry go out there and hit some from the logo. I think that would be more impressive. Or like, maybe not even make it the 3-point contest. Make it a game of horse where players.
That would be cool. Dude, that would be cool.
Where we have like 8 people playing in a game of horse and tossing up some ridiculous shots, because I mean, like, it would actually kind of make the shooting contest a lot more like the dunk contest, because it gives players a chance to hit some crazy, behind the back 360 no scope shit that we haven't seen before. That would bring a whole new frontier.
Or even like a like maybe 3v3 tournament in the All-Star game, where you saw like guys from different teams team up, kind of like the skills contest, but maybe a little better if we got like LeBron or James Harden and Joel and
I thought they should do a 1v1
or a 1v1,
like a 1v1 tournament, dude. Like, put like, I don't know, maybe like 32 players in the bracket.
That would start beef.
Oh yeah, but that's what makes it. That's entertaining.
And then like
if the NBA wants to make money, they're gonna make so much money off that.
Who's like that, And in my opinion, like the Rising Stars game and the Celebrity game and the those team kind of competitions, those were actually kind of entertaining. Like, they were fun to watch. They're fun to see the highlights and stuff like that. Like, Myles Garrett had like some kind of block or something.
Yeah, so I mean, it's because it's all the stars playing on the same team.
Have we just forgotten that Myles Garrett committed assault on a football field?
Yeah, we did.
Look,
everybody loves him now.
Myles Garrett is a great dude. I wouldn't say that I necessarily dislike him, but I think, what he did on the football field is just like
so fucked.
assault.
Mason Rudolph had to have said some shit. Like, because nobody likes Mason Rudolph. Nobody's taking Mason Rudolph's side in this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I like
well,
how
nobody's taking
Miles Garrett's.
Nobody's taking Miles Garrett's side on this either.
People kind of just forgot about it.
But people have forgotten about it.
Under the rug.
This was like one of the biggest, like one of the craziest things I'd seen on a sports playing field or court since the Mouse at the Palace.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't alive, or I was alive. I wasn't there for that. I didn't see that on TV, but I mean, like, I don't know, it kind of has that similar feel to it, where it's like this big fight where like shit gets thrown way out of hand. And you know, that's kind of exactly what that Myles Garrett situation was. But I mean, it is cool. I know he won Man of the Year a couple of years back. Like he's genuinely
a good guy.
Dude.
He let his emotions get over him. But I like how the NFL kind of just, because this dude's a star. He's like top 3 defensive players in the league behind Aaron Donald and TJ Watt. And the NFL just swept it under the rug. They just completely made everyone forget about it. Like that's what big corporations do.
Is that what I mean? Isn't that what they do like to literally every other single player who
exactly
the crap out of somebody, or like they just kind of sweep it under the rug, like
we're not hearing anything, literally anything about Deshaun Watson. Like, and you can't just leave us in the you can't just leave us without knowing what's going to happen to him, because he's a great player. But wait, he did, if it's true, is completely messed up, and he should be in jail. So like,
I think the
NFL, they gotta keep the fans in the loop, because we're a major part of their where they get their money and literally everything that they do.
I just honestly don't think anybody really knows what's going on, and that's why nobody is communicating to the fans. But I'll give it back to you, Oliver.
Yeah. I think the NFL, as far as like with its disciplinary choices and I think football in general has the commissioner of football. Let's say that I'm just gonna come out and say that like Roger Goodell is awful at his job.
Dude, it seems like every commissioner ever, like in pro sports, is shit right now.
He doesn't. Aside from Adam Silver, I think Adam Silver is pretty, but I think Roger Goodell has easily just handled the league in such a terrible way, because he doesn't punish players, at least for things that deserve punishment. And we see Deshaun Watson with how many allegations against him?
I think it was 22.
Did he ever get an actual official league sanctioned suspension?
No, I think the Texans did though.
But I mean,
is he just sitting out because
I think
Texans?
No. I think like the Texans aren't letting him play because of what's happening. But I couldn't tell you.
And in the fact that like he wants to, Roger Goodell is fine with having players who are rampant sexual predators, keeping them in a position where they can be on the field, whereas like the league blackballed Colin Kaepernick for speaking out against,
and now for speaking out,
and now the NFL is in even deeper shit with racism allegations and stuff like that. Like, I think the NFL is just a bunch of it really on an organizational level, it's just a bunch of racist white men.
It seems super corrupt at the same time.
Yeah, it's just that's what I'm saying. It is. It really, it's exploitative. It's overall just not a great. I watched a video on it. I watched like an hour commentary on the black athlete, and because that's something I think that as somebody who's so interested in sports, it's something I should learn about, is how black athletes are exploited like pretty often in sports, and football is one of the worst at doing that. And so I think that I just think the NFL needs to get its shit together. I think it honestly needs to go through a complete change of.
I just think it needs a new commissioner.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, like a complete change of leadership. And I think that owners who have done some corrupt, half-baked ass shit should be punished, fined substantially, because obviously these owners can afford it, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no the problem with punishing these owners is you can't really create a punishment that's gonna hurt them. You can't take away their ownership because they literally own the team. They own the entire team. And then you can't find that. You can find them, but they're not going to be worried about that. I mean, they have so much money. So what is a punishment that the thing is, I've seen like articles about punishing the owners by punishing the team, but it can't work like that because it wasn't the team's fault, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't the team's management or anything.
It's the thing where, like, oftentimes, the NFL, the players, a majority of whom are African American men, are given the blame for the actions of owners, for the actions of coaches, for the actions of white men who run the team.
I mean, that's what happened with Brian Flores. I mean, this dude didn't do anything wrong. He said no to losing purposely. I mean, you can't do that if you're an owner, and then the owner fires him because that's the owner has the power to do so.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of big exploitation issues in the NFL that need to be addressed, or else the NFL is going to be, especially in the day and age that we are in, with how progressive and proactive people are in calling out overt bullshit. I think the NFL is going to, they're going to want to address stuff soon, or else they're going to be into way in too deep. And, regarding another league that's in some trouble right now, let's talk about the MLB and what we think about that.
Everything possibly that could go wrong is going wrong right now.
Yeah,
it's definitely frustrating. I guess from both sides, I imagine it, from the MLBPA to the owners. The inability to sit down for more than 15 seconds doesn't really show much leeway, and the owners, at the end of the day, the owners do not want to delay the regular season at all, because they lose a bunch of money doing that, and they lose. It's a ton of money to lose that. But at the same time, like, the Players Association isn't going to give up. The Players Association seems pretty lenient on, they seem pretty set on their rules that they established, which they already. So the PA wanted, and correct me if I'm wrong, they wanted universal DH, and they got that. They wanted shorter arbitration.
Mm-hmm.
They got that's still in the works, I believe, and that's what the owners don't want. I'm blanking on what the conditions and what the PA wants, because it seems like the PA wants to kind of further the game, and the owners kind of want to keep it the way it is. I'm in favor for most of the stuff that the PA is doing, but I understand, like, it's a lot.
I understand why it's tough for the PA and the owners to come to a conclusion, because the owners should have a say because they own the team, but the players should have a say because they're the ones that are on the field and actually playing. So I understand both arguments about who should be right and who's right, who's wrong, but they got to put this past it. We got to realize it's past themselves. They have fans, they have people, they have a lot of money that can be made. They have a lot of the shit that can be done, and they're just postponing it because they're being stubborn. Both parties are being very stubborn, very, 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 very stubborn. It's like they're not allowing for any conversation about going towards an agreement. It's like they just can't. They're too stubborn for each other.
I mean, yeah, it kind of follows this lockout. It kind of follows the things that have been preceding it in perfect fashion. I mean, think about how tumultuous the last two MLB seasons have been. 2020, you got the Astros cheating scandal and Rob Manfred, sitting on both of his hands with that. You have obviously the shortened season because of COVID. You have, 7-inning doubleheaders, which I personally don't like. I know a lot of players and a lot of owners feel the same. The expanded playoff, the universal DH, like, there's been so much change in baseball over the past 2 years. Maybe you could even say 3-4 years. But I think, we've kind of been witnessing a revolution of sorts in baseball with players with players like Fernando, like with the young generation of talent bringing this new flashy brand of baseball that's never been seen before. That new fans and personally, I love it too. And I've been a fan of baseball for as long as I can remember. I know Jacob. I mean, how do you feel about it, Jacob? The flashy baseball.
Guys like Ronald Acuna Jr., Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis. He said, though they're definitely bringing like pop to baseball, because baseball for a while, like baseball was never like really like a sport like football or basketball where like LeBron James was kind of the face of the league. He was flashy. He had a lot of, I mean, I say it that kind of cliche or kind of cringe, but swag. He had a lot of swag with him. In football, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, those kind of guys. And even kind of before then, Tom Brady had a lot of swag, Aaron Rodgers. So
in Tampa, he had the swag.
It's definitely very awesome, and to see these young guys, and might I add, international players. I think baseball is awesome in the sense that
anybody can play
nationwide in the MLB, exactly, and you don't really see a lot of that unless it's in the NHL. So I think, and Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Ronald Acuna Jr., Shohei Ohtani, they're all from different countries. So I think that's another big part of what Oliver's saying, and that the game is like really growing. I was never really in favor of the shortening measures they do. I felt like every time there'd be a new strategy initiated from a team, like from Joe Madden or from another manager, I feel like the NBA would try to use that and cut down on it as much as they could. Joe Madden was like really famous with the Cubs for using like relievers for like 1 out, something like that. Baseball changed that and said your reliever must throw to, it's either at least 3 batters or throw 3 outs.
3 batters until the end of the inning.
Yeah. So they try to do that. And maybe let me correct my statement from earlier in saying that the owners and the players probably both want a full season. The shortened pandemic season was kind of lame in the sense that 16 teams made the playoffs. So more teams made the playoffs than teams that missed the playoffs.
And one of those teams was the below 500 Houston Astros, who, I mean, like, to their credit, made it to the championship series. And
they're a good team.
I think growing up over the past couple of years is realizing that the Astros are actually just a phenomenal baseball team.
They definitely are assholes for what they did, but
and like team. Once Carlos Correa, I pray to God that Carlos Correa doesn't re-sign with the Astros so I can stop hating him, because I think he's a great player. He's a great player, and although he handled the cheating allegations pretty poorly, and is just kind of an asshole, I think he's good for the game, and he's brought a lot of, again, he's an international player. He's from Puerto Rico. I think he has swag. I mean, he fucking flashed his watch, said it's my time in the series against the Red Sox. Like, I think Carlos Correa is also another player who's flashy and needs to gain more respect. And I think leaving the Astros will do that. I know we're like, this is kind of for those of you who this is your first time watching. With the Lala Boys podcast, this is something I want to explain. With the Lala Boys podcast, we would have a set agenda, and we would kind of talk about it. Sometimes we would, go from one subject completely unrelated to another. What we're doing here with this podcast, with the Juiced Up podcast, is we're just kind of going to snowball a little bit. We might have some, stark changes, but we're going to, for the most part, just kind of keep rolling and see where it goes. I mean, we started this conversation at the NBA dunk contest, and now we're talking about the MLB. So I think, that's more podcasty than being like, oh, we were talking about the MLB right now. Now for the greatest transition of all time, let's talk about your favorite kinds of cheese. Like, no, that's not what we're going to do this time around. We're just going to kind of keep rolling with it.
You guys don't know us, but we're 3 pretty goofy guys. We make a lot of stupid jokes and all this stuff, and we think a lot of the shit is funny. So we just have conversations, and a lot of the times our conversations are very entertaining.
At least to us.
Sometimes it might not be.
That might be them, but that might be just personal flattery that we're doing.
Yeah.
But like, I swear to God, more often than not, when it's me, Jacob, and Jaisen, and whoever on a PlayStation party, we're like, damn, man, if we recorded this and put it on YouTube, we'd make millions of dollars. Yeah. It's like,
but mostly it's just stupid jokes in that. We don't really talk about one set thing.
Yeah, like Donda West said, rest in peace, Donda. Like she said in Genius, that's $1 million. Should say that to Kanye West's lines, man. Yeah.
Speaking of Kanye, dude. That dude, like he's posting, like he's kind of settled down with his the ferocity of his post, but he's still
skeet.
Yeah, he's still Kanye. He's still acting like an idiot, dude. And I love the best part about it is how he's like, he don't give a fuck. He does not give a fuck. And it's Kanye. He's never given a fuck. But like what he's doing right now is some of the most Kanye shit I've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah.
I just hope he really sits on it too. I hope he actually does.
Yeah. The media hates Kanye West because the media cannot control
exactly,
because like the media tries to get a narrative on Kanye West that might not be real or might not be the whole truth, and Kanye will always be like, no, that narrative is bullshit. And obviously, like Kanye West, I'm not gonna be the first person to say this. Kanye West is a clown. All right, like dude is a bozo. Like he does some really dumb shit and he acts like a child sometimes.
He's the greatest rapper of all time.
He's the greatest rapper of all time. He's also mentally ill. And, like his arch enemy Skeet said on SNL, being mentally ill is no excuse to be a jackass. And that's the truth. And I think Kanye West kind of is the proof of that. But, I think.
But again, Kanye don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Kanye does not give a fuck. And I think that's something that I respect him for. And he's never gonna care about Emily's opinion. He's not gonna care about Bob's opinion.
But it's funny because he does, because this dude will go into his own comments and screenshot his own fans' comments and post them and just go off, bro. It's so
cropping either. No cropping either.
I gotta hear what you guys think about Cootie narrating jeen-yuhs.
I think it's awesome. I actually love it. I think it, you were telling me it's a little odd.
At first I thought it was a little bit odd.
And it was a little bit odd, and like I don't know what the hell Cootie was thinking. Cootie dropped his entire career, a very successful career, to film Kanye West.
It was genius.
Like it was genius. And he's literally like that is the biggest risk I've ever heard. You drop your successful comedy career to film a documentary of some kid who's trying to make it in the rap game, who winds up becoming the greatest rapper of all time, the most influential rapper of all time, one of the biggest people in media in the world. Somebody who turns heads at all times.
I'm really excited to see these last two episodes because I'm watching this series for many reasons, but one of the reasons is I want to see where everything went to shit for Kanye, like mentally, like where he just got off the chain and just started fucking going AWOL, batshit crazy. Because I think that's obviously it's Netflix, you're not gonna release everything, but it's his life, it's his story, and he's been following him. We're gonna see what happened, where it kind of just.
I definitely think that time span with his mother dying and the car accident and the MTV Awards, I think that was kind of the span where everything kind of changed for him. But going back to the filming of Kanye's life, especially early on, that's impressive to be like, yeah, this kid's gonna be a star, so I better take a video of this shit and just document his entire life.
That foresight. Yeah, to have that foresight. Cootie should have a record label.
And
Cootie should he should start a record label because he would accrue the best rappers ever.
And I think the ability of him being able to capture moments, you know, when Kanye felt like he was being used for his beats, the moment between him and his mom, that in that first episode, I think that really kind of opened everybody's eyes and being like, wow, this was Donda, like the album to his actual mother, like this is how much his mother meant to Kanye. And I have respect for Kanye because he's outlandish sometimes, and he deals with mental illness, and he's a little bit of a jerk sometimes, but he worked hard. He worked hard to get where he was. He was very good at what he did. And in the beginning, he was very humble, and he kind of got the door slammed in his face multiple times, and he kept on working because he felt like he had the drive, and he felt like he was good enough. And I think you credit a lot of that to his mom.
Yeah, I think Donda had a large part of what Kanye became and was, because, or is honestly, but yeah, I do agree that her death kind of was the complete turning point. I think I agree that the MTV records and all that, the show and all that kind of started it, but that's kind of the start. I think we're obviously gonna say, but that's what the start of when Kanye started to not give a fuck, and then Donda dying kind of just turned him not giving a fuck to what the fuck, literally, like I don't give a fuck to what the fuck am I doing. That's what he completely did, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know, another thing is that Kanye, somebody who, you know, something that they talked about in Genius was that Kanye was from Chicago, and at the time Chicago was nothing. Like, Chicago was, you know, obviously the biggest city in the Midwest, but it's in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? The biggest city in the Midwest is like the biggest street in New York. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or not even in New York. Actually, no. It's like the biggest street in Wyoming. Like, Kanye is, you know, from the Midwest. And so he, you know, and for the longest time, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, the Midwest wasn't really popping. The Midwest didn't have much. And like, now it's huge. Now Chicago is a huge place for the rap scene. But at that time, it wasn't. And that's why Kanye had to move to New York. And then, like, when Kanye finally had his career, that's why he had to move to LA. And he, you know, he takes the, you know, LA and New York, the coasts, the East and West Coast are completely different places from the Midwest. Like, people on the coasts are mean. They're not nice people. They're not very many nice people. San Francisco's cool. San Francisco has nice people.
They're very
Boston
territorial.
Boston has really mean people. Don't ever go to Boston if you don't like mean people.
I've noticed what you're saying though, but they're very territorial on the coast. Like, this is my shit. Don't fucking come here.
Yeah, and so when Kanye had to go to Los Angeles or New York, he had to adapt and he had to become New York.
It seems like he's not a city guy.
Yeah, it's not who he was, and he brought his mom out with him, and his mom felt the pressures of being in a place like Los Angeles, and she died during a cosmetic surgery. Like, you know, it's really sad, and it's a testament that shows like what LA is, and, you know, how talent can become so big that it starts to feed off of people around the person with the talent, you know, and it's really sad. And I think understanding that, and understanding the fact that Kanye really took, or at least, you know, put a lot of the blame on himself for his mother passing. And I think that, like, you know, that's something that you can't, like, no one can really say how that feels. Not many people can say how that feels. And so I think Kanye is somebody who's so misunderstood, but nobody's really ever tried to understand that.
But the thing is, I mean, if you try, you don't really understand what he's saying. I mean, right now, I understand where he's coming from. He wants his kids, he wants everything, but he's not getting his kids because of what he's doing and how he's doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, like I think Kanye does have some very important things to say, and I think the stuff that he's doing, although with Donda 2, although I don't like it because I want to listen to Donda 2, I think what he's doing, he has the right to do, and I think, you know, he actually probably deserves it. with the STEM player. He probably deserves it because, you know, as Geniuses showed, he was leached off of for the first few years of his career. He's, you know, he signed a record deal that trapped him, as most artists do. It's, you know, it's something where it's like, you give me the music and then I get my money, and then, you know, I spend my money and you have to keep your money because, you know, your career might be over in a couple of years. It's just, you know, again, like the industry, the recording industry is so toxic. And, you know, moving to a place like Los Angeles or New York, places that are generally relatively toxic. I mean, you know, I'm not going to make a general statement on, you know, two entire coasts of our country, but I think, you know, people talk about New York being a place of pressure, you know, the city that never sleeps. And then Los Angeles, it's like, dude, Los Angeles, everybody knows that Los Angeles is toxic. So, you know, it's just a tough thing for Kanye to go through that change. And I think that change has had a lasting impact on him.
Yeah.
Very much so. Well, I think that just about wraps up the episode, I would say. Any final remarks from you guys?
No, but it's great to be back. It's great, you know, it's great to be talking with you boys. And like today it was just a good ass conversation that we recorded.
That's what's up.
Also, I hope on the 2 releases.
Oh yeah. My birthday's tomorrow. Not like
Let's
it matters.
go.
I don't really like my birthday because, you know,
this will release on Tuesday, so technically it will be
the day after my birthday. So it's like everyone's like, how does it feel being 19? I'm like, dude, it doesn't feel like damn. It don't feel like damn thing different.
I'm gonna say HBD, Happy Balenciaga Day.
Yeah.
Happy Balenci Day, bro. Happy Balenci Day. Happy Balloons Day. Because
my birthday stand for.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, as Jacob said, that wraps up the episode. I'm Oliver Schramm. My co-hosts here, Jacob Spudich and Jason Shaw. Be here. We'd love to, you know, talk for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you did. And take care.
Give us feedback, please.